Welcome back. This is my man cave, so to speak, otherwise my garage. If you watched the last video, it was kind of a demonstration, brag, show off, whatever you want to call it, of what I'm capable of and what I would like to teach you to be capable of if that's what you're looking for. I'm going to start with the basics, what you need to wash the car, to polish the car, to wax the car. But I'm only going to go a little bit at a time. I'm going to try to keep these videos under 10 minutes so I don't lose your attention. Now, the first thing I do when I wash the car is the wheels and tires because they are usually the dirtiest and require the most aggressive chemicals. I've got a separate bucket for that, the blue one, and I've got two brushes. Zoom in on them. The one on the left is very stiff, hard bristled brush that is for the tires. The one on the right, much softer but still stiff, enough to clean the really nasty dirt that can build up on your rims. I always do those first because you don't want the nasty soap and foam and everything else splashing up onto an otherwise clean car. The second bucket is for washing the body panels themselves. These, you can get either of these at Home Depot or Lowe's. Doesn't matter, they're the same thing. I prefer a wash mitt like this. You can see it's got a lot of, fibers and fingers on it, made out of microfiber. That gives the dirt on the car a place to go so it's not held up against the surface causing scratches. Okay, as far as what soap I use right now, I'm using Meguiar's Hyperwash from their detailer line. The reason I'm using it and not Turtle Wax is because this bottle here, this 1 gallon, has lasted me for over 3 years. Not because I don't wash a lot of cars, because I can wash my car twice a week. Next to it is a bottle that I filled with 31 ounces of water and about a half ounce of the car wash soap. That stuff can be diluted 400 to 1, which is why it lasts so long. After I do the wheels and tires, the next thing are the door jambs. You can see I've got 3 brushes here. Some people will say you have to go and buy detail-specific brushes. Well, that's not true. I went to Home Depot or Lowe's or one of those places and bought an assorted pack of paintbrushes. They are plenty soft, plus they have enough stiffness, I guess you would say, that they can scrub the dirt really well. They get to the places where you cannot get with your wash mitt or a towel, and they do really well. I've got a 1-inch, a 2-inch that I've cut off, in case you need some slightly more scrubbing power than the longer bristles allow, and then a 3-inch brush. Between these 3, I can get anything on the inside or outside of the car. Inside of the car, you use them dry, like around the radio and the electronics, where you don't want to use a lot of water to dust areas. And once I'm done with the door jambs and they've been rinsed, I wash the body of the car itself using the red bucket or the orange bucket. Fill it most of the way with water. Add maybe 2 or 3 at the most ounces of the car wash soap. And that is more than enough to do a single car or large SUV or whatever. After it's washed, it's time to dry it. That's when the microfiber towels come in. There's all types of microfiber towels. You can see I got a bucket load here. But basically, they make them in all different shapes, sizes, plushness. But for my purpose, there are 3. You got the super fuzzy, super plush ones here like this. I use these exclusively for the final buff when the wax has been removed. These ones are about standard. They've got a medium pile to them. I call them a general purpose or wax removal towel. I do not use them to apply wax, especially a spray wax, because they're just too absorbent and you waste a lot of product, which you don't need to do. The third type is glass. I use this only on glass. It is a very tight weave. There is no lint, which is a big deal because these microfiber towels, especially the plush one, will leave a lot of lint. It's like getting cat or dog hair on your clothes. Looks terrible and it's hard to get off. The fourth towel I want to mention isn't exactly a microfiber. Back in the 80s, this was the drying towel. It's called the Absorber. It's a synthetic chamois. I will use this on a car that's never been detailed, so I don't have to use my dedicated, expensive car drying towel, which is over here. This towel here, the Absorber, also works great in cleaning up and drying off my polisher pads. Otherwise, I'd have to sit for hours or days to wait for them to dry out to use again after cleaning them. Over here, this is my drying towel. It does nothing but dry the car. It's made by Griot's Garage, and it's called the PFM. That stands for Pure Freaking Magic, which is what this towel is. It's very heavy, very thick, and just touching the water, it absorbs it. And if you dry the car the proper way, there's not much water left, and this towel here will take it all up and just barely be damp. It leaves no water spots. It will not streak. This one, I believe, is the small one. Cost me about 20 bucks. The larger one is about 40, but it's well worth every penny. Just use it on nothing but a clean car to dry the water off. Now I'll touch on the chemicals I use, and as you can see, with one exception, I am a huge Turtle Wax fan. Ever since they came out with their hybrid solutions line about 3 years ago, I've been a convert. Originally, I would use nothing but Meguiar's, thinking it was the bomb. It's not. This stuff, in my opinion, has completely changed the industry. It's cost effective. You use very little bit. It's extremely easy to use. There's no hard rubbing, no hard buffing, no nothing. It is just that simple. You got everything here from the ceramic 3-in-1 detailer, which I use to clean door jambs if they're not that dirty. Of course, you got the bug remover, which is the old school stuff. You got the ceramic spray coating, which I use as a top coat, which I think is interchangeable with the graphene infused flex wax. Either one of these does about the same job. They work the same, they apply the same, and they're just as easy no matter which one you choose. The Precision Platelet is their polishing / rubbing compound. Very easy to use, does not gum up, does not dust, doesn't do any of that nasty stuff that a lot of compounds do. Again, extremely, extremely easy to use. Over here, the best tire cleaner I've ever come across. The Hyperfoam Wheel and Tire Cleaner. You use very little of this. Most detailers I've seen on YouTube use way too much and say they only get so many tires out of the bottle, so it's not worth it. I've gotten 24 tires out of one bottle. That's how little you need to use. Once the tire's clean and dry, use the graphene acrylic tire shine. The best way to use this stuff is like there it went, a foam applicator pad. Spray it on the pad, 2 or 3 swipes around the tire, you're done. No wipe off, no sling, no running. When you're driving the car, it doesn't come off the tire and land on your paint, staining your paint. The final thing I'm going to touch on today is the only piece of actual detailing equipment I think you might need. Porter Cable 7424 Random Orbital Polisher. I've had this one for 21 years. The only thing to ever go wrong with it is the cord. I had to have the cord replaced about 5 years ago. Other than that, this is the base entry-level polisher, and I can't say enough good about it. Over here are the wax applicators. This one here is an orange Lake Country light cutting pad. This is what I do my compounding and polishing with. Over here is the Lake Country white polishing pad. I'll typically use this one to apply waxes. I'll get into cleaning all the polishers and pads in the next video. Thanks.